Good evening and welcome. I'm Alex Redmond. This year's Lions Fish Derby wraps up today to a huge turnout. ABC 7's Kate Flexter was there and joins us live in the studio with the details. Kate?
That's right, Alex. This year's catch was a little smaller than last year, coming into 429 lionfish. But as for the crowd, it was the biggest to date.
241.
One by one, volunteers measured and recorded the height, width, and weight of each and every lionfish, all part of Mote Marine Laboratories' annual Lionfish Derby. The lionfish is an incredibly invasive species, mainly because it has no real predators. But as a predator itself, it's a major threat to Florida's native species and ecosystems. In heavily invaded areas, the lionfish has reduced fish populations by up to 90%.
They're very fast reproducing, they're venomous, and they can eat a lot of native fish. And they've caused some native fish populations to really decrease in invaded areas.
During the Derby, divers try to keep that growing population under control, competing to spear as many of the fish as they can.
Anytime I'm out spearfishing, I'm always looking for a large concentration of lionfish so I can go back and harvest them during a tournament.
And to keep all of that fish from going to waste, local restaurants prepared and served unique dishes featuring the invasive species.
We can't put the lionfish on our menu always because it's a very inconsistent thing with the spear guys. But when we can and we have it on our menus, you know you're cooking something you really feel good about, and that's awesome.
All of the dishes were big hits.
It's a nice white meat and light on the side, so it's really good.
But it was also an opportunity for scientists.
This gives us more specific information. We know these fish are voracious. We know that they eat a wide variety of prey items. Basically anything they can fit into their mouth is what it seems. And nothing is eating them.
Those scientists not only measured the fish, but also studied the DNA content of their stomachs, determining what the lionfish are eating and which species may be in danger.
And by doing this, we'll be able to know how much of what is in the lionfish diet is specifically related to those species that we value the most commercially and recreationally.
While this year's total catch was smaller than last, the winning team set the record for largest catch from any one team. Alex?
Thank you, Kate. A happy ending to an early morning call for Wildlife Incorporated. A baby duck fell into a storm drain this morning. Wildlife Inc. says the duckling cried for help while the mother stood by with the rest of her babies. Wildlife Inc. rescuers pulled the grate off the drain and scooped the duckling up with a net. They walked over to the lake with the duckling in hand. Both the mom and baby swam towards each other to reunite. Now let's go over to meteorologist Steve Newman for a first check on our weather. Steve?
Alex, we're looking for maybe a little more rainy weather coming up later on this week, but today it was hit and miss with the scattered thunderstorms that passed around the Suncoast. One particularly strong one went off Manasota Key and kind of dissipated. It looked kind of dangerous if you were at the beach looking westward, but it fortunately did not come ashore. But there were some fairly hefty storms and still are right now in parts of eastern Charlotte County, and Highlands and Hardee County and Polk have seen some strong storms. There's one left right now right about Brandon that could be producing hail. Currently at Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, the temperature 91 degrees, 73 is the dew point, humidity 55%. And our high today was 93. It's still above normal, as was last night's low 79. Back in 1948, second day in a row, we had record low temperatures in the 60s. That must have been a really nice July back then. Here's our forecast temperatures overnight, dropping off to about 77 or 78 for our lows. Our complete forecast and tropical weather outlook coming up in just a few minutes. Alex?
Thank you, Steve. A deadly motorcycle crash on Siesta Key early this morning. Florida Highway Patrol says 35-year-old Cassidy Manchester of Bradenton was riding his motorcycle on Ocean Boulevard around 1 this morning. He drifted off the road and collided with a dividing wall. Manchester was taken to Sarasota Memorial Hospital, where he later died from his injuries. And today, the Pittsburgh Pirates are honoring first responders. The Public Safety Day at McKechnie Field is a tribute to all emergency personnel, including police officers, firefighters, deputies, and troopers. Sergeant Phil Waller from the Bradenton Police Department says the event is a great way to get to know the community on a personal level, especially young kids.
We've had a lot of kids. They have a blast seeing the truck and the bike. They have fun talking to us and the other officers here. To hear some stories or what they're for, the bike and the SWAT truck here.
Families say the event was a great opportunity to spend time together and watch some baseball. A summer camp in Manatee County is devoted exclusively to special needs children. Dream Oaks Camp teaches the kids fun ways to complete everyday tasks while working on different skills like socialization and physical therapy. ABC 7's Erica Jackson shows us the creative ways counselors mix basic learning and fun.
The Dream Oaks Camp in East Manatee County helps children with both intellectual and physical disabilities. In just 1 year, they just about doubled their enrollment, with 23 children in 2015 to 43 in 2016.
My favorite activity is probably anything to do with water, so like the pool and the boat and canoeing.
Sarah Buzansky has been attending Dream Oaks Camp since she was 8 years old. She says Dream Oaks helps her grow in ways that she never thought were possible.
They help us learn to do the activities in innovative ways, so we basically accomplish our goals and dreams that we're not able to achieve outside of camp.
The camp works with Born to Ride and Prospect Riding in Manatee County to provide children with therapeutic horseback riding sessions. All three teams work together to raise money to build wheelchair-bound Sarah an adaptive saddle.
It makes me feel like I'm on top of the world, like I can see the sky. It's the only place I can see the sky.
And the kids think they're horseback riding. Little do they know we're working their core with balance, or they're canoeing and we're working their arms.
Roll the bus. Some campers are working on smaller everyday tasks, like learning to make their bed. Counselors work with 1 to 3 children per week to ensure each camper is learning while getting a chance to be themselves.
Every kid deserves to be a kid. They should laugh and play and get paint on them and a little dirt here and there and have these memories.
The ultimate goal of the program is to promote the children's abilities rather than their inabilities. Reporting in East Manatee County, I'm Erica Jackson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Erica. Lovely story. Volleyball players from across the state are here on the Suncoast for another volleyball tournament. The Classic has returned for another weekend of fun. Dig the Beach made a stop on the Suncoast back in May, and players took over Siesta Beach to spike, set, serve, dig, and block. About 160 teams came out Saturday and today for the 2-day event. The event has grown substantially since it began 15 years ago.
We are the largest tour in all of the Southeast. We're very proud to be able to put something on to support not only beach volleyball, but to give the parents and juniors something different than indoor volleyball, which has been on the market for over 100 years.
Dig the Beach had some competition itself. There are 5 other beach volleyball tournaments taking place this weekend throughout Florida. Still to come on your Suncoast News, tensions are high at protests around the country. President Obama explains why protesters want their voices heard. Coming up after the break. Stay with us.
On your TV, on your computer, on your camera, on your smartphone, on your Apple Watch. And now you can get ABC 7, your Suncoast News, on Roku. Just go to mysuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab for a list of fast and free downloads that deliver ABC 7, your Suncoast News, on the go. Have you ever wondered what it's like to save a life? Find out by donating platelets at Suncoast Blood Bank.
I'm Haley Wilgus, ABC 7. Platelets aid in the clotting process and are vital in the treatment of cancer and surgical patients, trauma victims, and critically ill newborns. It's tough to keep enough on the shelves because they only last 5 days. To donate, call this number or visit scbb.org and you can help save a life.
ABC 7 congratulates Suncoast Blood Bank on 65 years of serving our community.
Thanks to my volunteer, I am a better reader.
Thanks to my volunteer, math seems simple now.
Thanks to my volunteer, I discovered new career goals.
I'm a volunteer for Sarasota County Schools, so I know I can make a difference. And you can too. Give an hour, change a life.
At ABC 7, it's all about being here for you. ABC 7 News at 7 with award-winning investigative journalist Alan Cohn. In-depth reporting and debate on important issues and stories in our community with a featured topic of the day and a live roundtable discussion with community leaders and newsmakers. Plus a quick recap of the day's top stories and weather. ABC 7 News at 7 weeknights. Now more than ever, we're here for you, Suncoast.
Looks like we're getting another new neighbor.
Now you could be the millionaire next door. Play Monopoly Florida Edition scratch-off games with a top prize of $5 million. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Discover the biggest savings of the year on some of America's favorite vehicles during the Drive and Discover event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Get Four-Wheeler Magazine's 4x4 of the decade, a new Jeep Wrangler as low as $25,999, or drive away in a new Jeep Cherokee for just $19,999. Get a new 2016 Jeep Patriot for just $14,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
The city of Dallas continues to deal with the mass shootings that took the lives of 5 police officers. Police in Dallas surrounded their own headquarters after reports of a suspicious person in their garage on Saturday. SWAT teams and sharpshooters were on the scene, but a sweep turned out nothing. The scare briefly took away from the scene outside the department as the public brings flowers and American flags as a sign of hope. Under those gifts, 2 police cars serve as a reminder of the officers killed by sniper Micah Johnson. The Dallas police chief says Johnson was planning a much larger attack than the one carried out on Thursday.
We believe that the deaths in Minnesota and the deaths in Louisiana just sparked his delusion to fast-track his plans and saw the protest in Dallas as an opportunity.
Police say Johnson had a journal of his ramblings in his home and in the garage where he was killed. The man used his own blood to write letters on the wall. Investigators are using this as evidence. More police brutality protests are planned across the country this evening in the wake of the 2 deadly police shootings in Minnesota and Louisiana. President Obama defending the protests today, led mainly by the Black Lives Matter movement. Protests in St. Paul, Minnesota turned violent Saturday night.
This is not about grief. This is not about protest. This is about rioting. This is about violence.
Demonstrators shut down Interstate 94 for several hours and angrily protested at the governor's mansion. They also attacked officers.
We had 21 police officers last night that were injured as a result of rocks, bottles, rebar, Molotov cocktails.
None of the injuries were life-threatening, though 3 had to be hospitalized. Police arrested more than 100 of the demonstrators in the protests driven by the death of Philandro Castile, a black man, at the hands of police. His fiancée live-streamed the aftermath of his deadly encounter with police during a traffic stop in Minnesota last week.
City police, you're under arrest.
Prominent Black Lives Matter activist DeRay McKesson streaming his video on Periscope in Baton Rouge overnight.
They're arresting DeRay right on.
One of 102 demonstrators who were taken into custody. Police confiscated 8 rifles, shotguns, and pistols and blamed the violence on out-of-towners. Tensions in Louisiana running high after the recent shooting death of Alton Sterling by police officers in Baton Rouge. From Spain, President Obama responded today to protests in cities across the country.
The overwhelming majority of people who are involved in the Black Lives Matter movement, what they really want to see is a better relationship between the police and the community.
President Obama had to cut his trip to Spain short because of the recent events in the U.S. President Obama is opting for a one-day visit instead of 2 to return to Washington following the police shootings in Louisiana and Minnesota and the sniper attack on police officers in Dallas. He arrived in Madrid on Saturday to meet with Spain's King Felipe. He says he wishes he could extend his stay.
I wish I was staying longer, and I'm so grateful for the understanding not only of His Majesty, but the people of Spain. We've had a difficult week back in the United States, so my trip is a little abbreviated, but I thought it was very important for me to come here. Given the extraordinary friendship an alliance that exists between Spain and the United States.
President Obama also met with Spain's acting prime minister today. Caitlyn Jenner is heading to Cleveland during the Republican National Convention. The reality star won't actually be attending the convention. She's one of the celebrity guests at an LGBT event. The American Unity Fund, a conservative nonprofit organization, is hosting a big tent brunch on July 20th at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. According to a statement, the event will showcase conservative support for LGBT rights and work still needed to bring full freedom and equality opportunity. A Delta Airlines flight is diverted after 9 passengers got sick on the plane. The Delta Airlines flight from Atlanta was diverted to Tulsa, Oklahoma on Saturday. Police say the passengers got sick around the same time mid-flight. Emergency medical units in Tulsa treated them for general illness and nausea, but it's still unclear what caused them to get sick. A passenger said the airline would send another plane to take them to Denver. The U.S. Navy lowers its medal count for famed SEAL Chris Kyle. A Navy investigation released Friday shows Kyle overstated the number of awards he received for heroism. Kyle's best-selling book, American Sniper, was made into a Hollywood movie in 2014. In the book, he says he received 2 silver and 5 bronze stars. But the Navy's investigation determines Kyle had commendations for 1 silver and 4 bronze star medals. The Navy says the error appears to have been a clerical mistake. Chris Kyle was shot to death in 2013 by a troubled Marine Corps veteran that he had been mentoring. Steve, it's a heavy, heavy movie, but let's talk about weather now, because you were mentioning, I think, that it was going to be cooler, that we were up for some cooler weather, and I can definitely appreciate that because it was like an oven out there today.
I've been doing weather for 43 years, and for 43 years, people have been complaining about the weather, and they're complaining about the heat and humidity relentlessly. Well, maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday, the complaints will stop. I don't mind. It goes with the territory, and I love the job. We can see today a great day. We had scattered showers and thunder showers passing by. If they didn't hit you, it stayed hot and humid. If you did get one, you were lucky, mainly inland, and it stayed warm if you did not get any of those showers. These are current temperatures, and you can see it is warm, 87 at Longboat Key and Siesta, 88 at Boca Grande. But this doesn't tell the story. Factor in the high dew points and the humidity. This is the feel-like temperature right now, almost 100 still at the beach, Sarasota, 100 at Arcadia and Lake Placid and at Punta Gorda. I think maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday we'll see an increase in sea breezes and scattered thunder showers in the afternoon and evening hours that will help alleviate that problem. The weather continues to be quiet across the tropical Atlantic. We have one cluster of thunderstorms right now as the sun sets on the Leeward Islands that is heading for the Dominican Republic. I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's not going to develop into anything. The Caribbean and Gulf look eerily quiet. It's like hardly anything there, but this is often a quiet period in the tropics. Our hurricane season really doesn't pick up typically until we get deep into August and September, peaking about September 10th. We do have the season's third hurricane right now, our third tropical feature in the Pacific. This is Hurricane Celia that became one from a tropical storm during this afternoon when winds increased to 80 miles an hour. And this could become Tropical Storm Darby right on its wake. The jet stream is where it should be this time of year, well to the north of us, and it really doesn't affect our weather. High pressure is really what controls our weather pattern this time of year. It's also bringing a lot of scattered showers and thunderstorms along the Gulf Coast. Now, the forecast I used to give when I started doing the weather here in 1972 was fair to partly cloudy with a chance of afternoon and evening thunderstorms. That worked pretty well most of the time because we have the afternoon sea breezes that would produce those afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, cooling us off, giving us great evenings. Well, this high pressure has shut it down. Now, it's typical for high pressure to be over us during the summer, but it wobbles up and down, and its position during that wobbling controls whether we get those sea breezes and afternoon thunderstorms. I think in the next couple of days it's going to drift northward, allowing that to develop. We're going to keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully by Tuesday or certainly by Wednesday we might begin to see those things develop in the afternoon and move inland, maybe even get an influence from the east coast sea breezes as well. This is the radar image we're seeing of what's left in the heart of the state. Some fairly hefty thunderstorms with local hail, but I think they're going to be decreasing through the evening hours as the heat of the day dies down. I don't have a lot of confidence in the RPM computer model with this kind of atmospheric setup, but you can just get the general idea. We seem to have a southerly flow, maybe some of these storms blowing offshore overnight. But I think we're going to probably see by Wednesday a big change in that weather pattern. Right now, though, hot and humid is the weather word for tomorrow and maybe Tuesday as well. It's also going to see spotty thunderstorms, giving local cooling and wetter and maybe a little bit cooler by midweek. If you're heading out on the bay and on the open water, seas will be 2 feet or less with southwesterly winds. Gulf temperature 91, the water, the air temperature 90 degrees. And here's the 7-day outlook showing that pattern change, going from a 20% chance of showers tomorrow up to 40 Tuesday, and then a blanket 50% chance with hopefully those afternoon and evening showers and thunder showers, as that old forecast used to tell about.
Thank you, Steve.
Now, sports.
Things ever going to get better for the Rays? Because it doesn't seem that way. The Red Sox took the lead in the first with 3 runs, 2 of them coming from a 2-run homer off Jake Odorizzi. Boston adding another run in the second, once again off Odorizzi. The Red Sox pitcher having quite the day on the mound, striking out 10 batters and allowing no runs. Boston sweeps the series, taking the win in all 4 games. British tennis star Andy Murray does it again. He won in straight sets to claim his 2nd Wimbledon title. The win earns him his 3rd Grand Slam title. Murray spent the afternoon celebrating, and he showed off his trophy on a balcony, raising it up, showing it to the crowds below, and kissing his hard-earned trophy. Across the pond, the British Grand Prix. A summer race got soaked when torrential rain drenched the track, but it wasn't a complete washout. Drivers followed the safety car for the first 5 laps. When they were allowed to race, Lewis Hamilton took off, but what went on behind him was far more interesting. A real dogfight between 2 drivers for 2nd place. But it was Hamilton's day because he was cheered on by more than 100,000 fans. He made sure to celebrate with them. Hamilton is the first driver in history to win 3 consecutive British Grand Prix since Jim Clark. That was in the 1960s. Golfer Dustin Johnson says he will skip the upcoming Summer Olympics next month over concerns about the Zika virus. This makes the 32-year-old U.S. Open champion the first American to withdraw from the Rio Games over Zika. In a statement, Johnson says he and his fiancée, Paulina Gretzky, plan to have more children in the near future, and he feels it would be irresponsible to put himself and his family at risk. Gretzky is the daughter of hockey legend Wayne Gretzky. The Zika virus is transmitted by mosquitoes and can lead to birth defects in babies. Still more to come on your Suncoast News. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to save a life? Find out by donating platelets at Suncoast Blood Bank.
I'm Haley Wilgus, ABC7. Platelets aid in the clotting process and are vital in the treatment of cancer and surgical patients, trauma victims, and critically ill newborns. It's tough to keep enough on the shelves because they only last 5 days. To donate, call this number or visit scbb.org and you can help save a life.
ABC7 congratulates Suncoast Blood Bank on 65 years of serving our community.
At ABC7, our entire weathercast is dedicated to the Suncoast, and now we bring it to you like never before with the all-new official Suncoast forecast.
Beach and boating forecast. The winds will be out of the northwest at 10 knots.
Now, with the most advanced graphics and technology, we bring you weather where you live, pinpointing right down to your neighborhood.
Zooming into the Sarasota Bayfront.
The all-new official Suncoast forecast, only on ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Monday at 4 on Suncoast View.
Staying hydrated is key to beating this oppressive heat. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. Dr. Jenny is here to talk about how to make the water you drink work better for your body. One way to beat the heat is in the air conditioning at the family-friendly Summer Circus Spectacular at the Ringling. We'll have a preview, plus the latest trends in engagement rings. And Gold Rush Barbecue joins us in the kitchen.
Monday at 4 on Suncoast View.
Hurricane season is here, and so is the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. This essential resource arms you with vital information you need to protect your family and property when severe weather threatens the Suncoast, including how to create your readiness plan and survival kit, shelter locations, what to do with pets, and important phone numbers. Visit mysuncoast.com and download the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. Brought to you by the Florida Lottery. On your TV, on your computer, on your camera, on your smartphone, on your Apple Watch. And now you can get ABC7, your Suncoast News on Fire TV. Just go to mysuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab for a list of fast and free downloads that deliver ABC7, your Suncoast News on the go. The all-new mysuncoast.com. Just another way we're here for you.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little Sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
And finally tonight, we introduce you to the world's smartest raccoon. Melanie the raccoon has many talents. First and most obvious, she's house trained. She's able to tumble around the floor and walk on her hind legs. She stands up, spinning around in circles. Check out how she begs her owners to play ball with her. And she can catch the ball in order to receive a treat. And she's a fashionista, sporting an adorable red bandana. Raccoon Melanie has quite a fan club with more than 50,000 followers on Facebook. That is so cute.
Absolutely adorable. They can be fastidious and very clean animals. So I can see it'd be fun to have a pet.
Absolutely, they're darling. And the thing is that, you know, if they come out at night, that's when it's okay. If they come out during the day, not so good. We want to thank you for tuning in to ABC7, and we invite you to join us tonight at 11. We'll see you then. Have a good night.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.